Ugly Truthers, welcome. Today's segment, we are going to talk about one of the biggest divorce coaching strategy tools that I offer with my clients. I'm willing to share that with you today. But before we do that, I want to quickly offer up some co-parenting tips to get through the holidays. We have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas coming up, and that goes along with any birthdays, any holidays as the new year rolls around. I want the co-parenting to go a lot easier than it has been for some parents. So I'm offering up some holiday tips on how to make your co-parenting through the holidays go a lot smoother. And you can get that at theuglytruthofcoparenting.com. Just go ahead and grab that. It's free and it's here to help you. It was 2008. I was wearing a white sweater, some slacks. I think back then even like knee-high boots were cute. It was my first court appearance for my divorce. The very first one. Like brand new, didn't have a clue what I was doing, didn't know what to expect. And I was in the bathroom laying on the floor puking my guts out. I was puking because I had no idea what to expect. It was the worst moment. I didn't know what it was gonna be like when I walked into court. I didn't know what was gonna be said. I didn't know how to conduct myself. I didn't know what my ex was going to do. There were so many unknowns. The anxiety, the panic, the worry got too much. It was overwhelming. And I remember telling my mom that morning, I said, nobody should feel this way. Nobody should be this worried. Nobody should be this panicked because of the unknown of divorce and custody. Nobody should feel this way. So, fast forward, years later, I'm now a divorce coach. And what I learned on that bathroom floor, being so anxious and so worried, was nothing is ever as bad as what it seems. Nothing is. You may think it's gonna be horrible and everything's just gonna go wrong. But then when it's done, you're always like, man, that wasn't as bad as what I thought it was gonna be. And mine wasn't that day. It wasn't bad. It was a simple status hearing, but I didn't know what status hearings were. I had no idea what they were. But the panic was just too much. So there might be times, and I'm just gonna vaguely talk about, maybe it's a court date like mine, that panic and worry takes over. Or maybe it's that you need to talk to your co-parent and ask them for maybe switching a weekend. Or they need to maybe pick up your son or daughter from a sport and they're typically not the one that does that. You need to interact with them. Or maybe it's that you actually need something from them. There's a bill that's come up, or there's a change that needs to happen in your parenting plan. All of these instances can cause huge panic, huge worry, huge just anxiety that takes over for some people, including myself. So the reason that it does is because it's the unknown. You don't know how your co-parent's going to answer. You don't know what the court system is going to say. It's all of these unknowns. So the reason you don't want to be confrontational with your ex is because you know it's going to lead to an argument. You know it's going to cause a fight. You know it's going to cause long-term problems. And again, all of those lead back to the anxiety and the panic and the worry and the stress. And you don't want that if you don't have to, right? But sometimes things have to happen. And so today I want to talk to you about what happens in those instances where there's so many unknowns. You don't know how the court's going to react. You don't know how your ex is going to react. But you know you have to interact. You know you have to ask these questions. You know you have to go to them and get something done. You have to go to court. So how do you fix that? How do you fix that worry? All the time I have clients calling me saying, Sam, what if? Sam, what if? Sam, what if happens? What if? And it's this huge what if game. And I got overwhelmed with it for a long time, not being able to help people. And then I finally figured it out. Let's talk it out. And here's my tip. Let's talk out the worst case scenario. On any circumstance, talk everything, all the dominoes fell in the devil's place and everything went wrong. What would the end result be? How bad would it really be? Is it anything we can't fix? Is it anything we can't appeal? Is it anything we can't just let go? Is it anything that we can't just get over? So when bad things happen that are causing you panic, when events happen that are causing you stress and worry, you need to go to your support network. You need to find a friend, find family, find a lawyer, find your counselor, find somebody like me, a divorce coach, that can talk you through the worst case scenario. Because without going through that worst case scenario, you are going to play all these what ifs in your head, and you might not even think of them all. And then you're not ever gonna go past that. Okay, well, let's say that does happen. Let's backtrack. How can we fix it? How can we cope with it? How can we deal with it? How can we just make sure that we're just still pushing forward? And it sounds like, I'm sure some of you are probably saying, well, that sounds so easy. Yeah, it kind of is. You have to talk things out. If this happens, I will feel this way. I will do this. If this happens, I'm gonna feel this way. I'm gonna do this. Because for somebody like me who's laying on the bathroom floor puking her guts out because of just nerves, I'd done nothing wrong. I was just nervous because I was in court for the first time. I'd never had a ticket. I'd never been in front of a judge. I didn't know what that feeling was like. And then to not know what's his lawyer gonna be like, what's he gonna be like. It was too overwhelming. It was a whole bunch of what ifs that I didn't play out to reassure myself that I'd still be okay. And as soon as I got in that car, I said, man, why'd I get so worked up? Why'd I get so upset? I didn't play out the worst case scenario, and I didn't play out the best scenario, and I didn't do all the scenarios in between. That's the way to get through that. So if you're the type of parent that gets so worked up about having to talk to your ex, having to ask your ex for a favor, having to go to court and not know how it's gonna fall out, I need you to play out the worst case scenario. And then I need to ask yourself, how am I gonna feel if that happens? And what are things I can do to fix it? If it does. There's a lot of ifs. But going into stuff blindly, not thinking of the worst case scenario and not playing it all the way out can really send you into the bathroom and being laying on the floor puking your guts out. And I don't want anybody to feel that way. It's one of the top stories as to why I became a divorce coach, was to make sure that no one felt the way I did. So if you haven't already done so, go to theuglytruthofcoparenting.com and grab your free co-parenting tips to get you through the holidays. I don't care if you've been divorced 5 years, 10 years, 5 minutes, 5 months. You need these co-parenting tips on how to get along with your ex and to how to make the best for the holidays for your child. Okay, so make sure you're going to grab those. Play out the worst case scenario. It's the biggest tip I've been giving. We just think of everything that could happen and how you're gonna feel and how you could fix it if it does happen. And then you have such horrible expectations of how it's gonna go when it goes really well and he says, sure, here's 20 bucks. Court system says, no problem. Here's how it's gonna go down. And you're like, man, I was prepared. I didn't get crushed with emotion because I was prepared. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Be sure to like, comment below. I look forward to hearing from you again tomorrow.